Hey, it's Saturday, November 20th, 2001, and this is test episode 1 of
The Slayers of Boredom Podcast.
So hopefully this will be the first of many.
Yes, the first of many indeed. That's what we're hoping to do.
And
Launch next year, maybe?
yeah,
That seems good to me.
I'm okay with that. Got to get through the holidays.
Yeah, sure.
Stupid family time. I mean, great family time. Well, whatever. It's a test run.
And either way, we're thinking probably every 2 to 3 weeks. We'll try and get them going live, streaming, and video and audio, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I'll, drop a hard file on Podbean, the following Monday or something.
All right.
Whenever I'm at work,
Yeah.
supposed to be working.
Well, that's all right. You're being productive regardless, and that's
Yeah.
key. So,
Yeah.
but we should have plenty to talk about,
Oh, sure. I mean,
considering we thought, hey, we'll do some obscure Ecuadorian prison riots and talk about that. And then for Pam, the day before this little tester, Rittenhouse, gets his
Yeah.
verdict. And I feel like that is way more pressing and stupid.
yeah, in this country right now, sure, that's going to be the hot topic.
Of course. How do you feel? You like it? You like that verdict? You feel fair? Feel just?
No, not at all. I mean, I think most people. I mean, the sheer stupidity of the situation to begin with is just what always baffles me. I mean, it's just you don't take a high-powered, self-repeating rifle to a protest and think that something is not going to come up on you like that. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I remember one of his when he was testifying, one of the things he said was that he was afraid they were going to take the rifle he had brought with him and then use it against him to kill him or other people. And it's just like you're missing the key here is the rifle. It
Yeah.
shouldn't have been there. I mean, even just from regardless of the kid's age, you know what I mean? He was 17 years old. I mean, that is a law that for some reason the judge decided to throw out. I mean, I'm assuming if he was charged with it, then obviously it was against the law for him to maybe not possess that rifle for hunting purposes, but to take it across state lines and walk around the streets with it. You know what I mean? That's a rifle that's used, a military rifle.
But I do believe that he has his father in Kenosha and I guess his grandmother. So
I didn't know that.
He has family. So there was no
Okay.
state lines crossing essentially. But the guy that bought the gun that said, okay, this is my gun, but it's going to be yours when you turn 18 and you can't touch it. But then he just took it anyway.
Sure.
And he ran with it. Yeah, I don't know why that was thrown out, but the judge did a lot of questionable things. I think the most insulting, in my opinion, was that
Before the trial even started.
with the we couldn't call the people that died victims because that would be too leading for the jury. They need to be considered looters, rioters. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's not leading at all. But victims was off the table.
Yeah,
So-
that's obviously absurd. I mean, I didn't actually get to do too much research on this, but I do believe you can tell me. I think was he restricting? The judge was also restricting certain Facebook and Twitter posts that Rittenhouse had.
No, I mean I don't know. I didn't hear about that one.
I was talking to a coworker about that, but I mean, regardless, a lot of those, I've seen some of them, could obviously show some sort of intent, and I just don't understand why that wouldn't be admissible in court if that were to be the case. That confused me. But the one factual thing that absolutely did happen right before our eyes was that wonderful ringtone that the judge
Yes.
had as well.
I felt like
I
that
mean-
was one of the most telling things you could have. As soon as I heard that, I knew that this verdict was coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the ridiculous anthem of a Trump rally.
For those
Just
that don't
like-
know, his phone went off in the middle of the court. Now, this is the judge's phone. He forgot to put on silent. And he quickly silenced it, but we got enough notes to tell that it was one of Donald Trump's intro songs. Now, this is a guy that loves Donald Trump, and Donald Trump supports Rittenhouse and his self-defense defense. So you could kind of see where that was going. Those lines really became parallel quick.
It was a very strange, the whole trial, I mean, it was over from the start.
Now,
Due to certain actions from, I mean, and I mean, I'll see the other side of it as far as the prosecution. I mean, they were terrible. And one of the just the dumbest, weirdest things I've seen was the guy aiming the rifle at the jury and having his finger in the well on the trigger. That was ridiculous. But I mean, they didn't do a good job with prosecution. And the kid was, I mean, literally all of the memes you see from the Daily Show and stuff about how the judge just wants to give him a big hug and adopt him afterwards and stuff. It all just it's It just seemed that way, man. It didn't feel like justice was served. I mean, not even a single count.
Nothing.
I don't.
No
I mean,
penalties.
regardless, he still took the lives of 2 people because he brought a weapon, like a weapon that is used by our military, into the city of Kenosha
Yeah.
on the streets during a protest under the guise of being a medic and to protect some businesses. You know what I mean? Like, I understand like protecting businesses, but like it doesn't.
It doesn't equate to no consequences. It doesn't equate.
He's an idiot. He's a 17-year-old idiot, man. He was probably scared shitless, didn't know what the hell he was doing. Then he shoots a dude 4 times and starts running away. And everybody's just like, why are you chasing him? That was dumb. It's like, well, I mean, you like to think that like at least somebody was doing a noble thing. They thought he was an active shooter, I would assume. You know what I mean? Like, take
Yeah.
his gun away. And I'm sure they were pissed off. And I mean, I'm sure they probably would have hurt the kid, but whatever. I don't know. I really would have cared about that. You get smacked around and disarmed a little bit, and then you go to jail. That probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
But, he got the upper hand on another dude, and then I don't know, man. It also seems weird to me. He killed the 2 unarmed people, but the guy who approached him with his Glock out, who actually was a medic, has a history of like being a medic. He just like shot him in the arm.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, for a kid that seems so scared and just firing off rounds everywhere like a moron.
Well, I did.
You know
watch
what I mean?
The,
He somehow doesn't shoot the guy that actually has a weapon.
I watched a little bit of the trial, and especially with the 3rd guy that got his arm
His
essentially
whole
blown
bicep,
off.
yeah.
Was if they slowed it down and did it frame by frame, and he, as Rittenhouse brought the gun up and was facing it to him, at first he was backing away, and then when the gun was coming up, like he was like, oh, he's gonna shoot me. He then went at him again.
Yeah, it seemed like he was. I mean, the kid was flailing around so much with getting back up. He was just firing with wanton disregard in the streets of Kenosha with a freaking AR.
That's the nitty gritty. But when you just zoom out a little bit on the scene, on what happened, how it went down, it didn't need to happen.
Yeah, it didn't need to happen at all. I mean,
and whose fault is it really? It is the guy with the gun that was untrained to have that kind of firepower.
Exactly.
So to have no repercussions just gives every, y'all-cade out there license to kill.
Exactly. It sets precedent, man. It sets precedent for people to, I mean, they've been emboldened, or I shouldn't say, I'm sure they have right now. A lot of people are like happy for them, but it scares me that a future protest, a future teachers association or teacher board meeting or something gets a little bit out of hand, and somebody with a gun just thinks they can get away with it because
they feel threatened.
Yeah, it's oh man. And when the kid's gonna be paraded around like the poster boy of QAnon by Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's just, oh my God, it's scary written all over it.
Oh, here it comes. Well, he'll be running for office before he's 25.
Yeah, running for office or
it's easy
gonna get a
votes.
fucking badge
It's
or something.
Easy votes. But now, do you feel like that entire case is more of a racial sort of situation or a guns rights situation? Because I felt like it was over and done with before it started because of the gun aspect, not even bringing race into it.
Yeah, I mean, what is
it was the BLM riots that were the cause, and this is a white guy who's shown flashing white supremacist symbols and free as fuck shirts.
I know. So. Standing with Proud Boys in a bar.
Yeah, so it's there's a lot of racial tension there.
I've as far as I know, none of that was allowed to be admissible in court. It wasn't anything that like happened after, like before the fact via Facebook or Twitter shit that the kid would have said, or after the fact when he was rocking that shirt in the bar. And to me, I just like I don't like in the court of the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, went after these dudes' criminal records. You know what I mean? The victims of Rittenhouse, and they all had extensive criminal records, and some of them didn't include like sex crimes and pedophilia and stuff like that, which is just abhorrent beyond. I mean, you can't even
obviously.
But they had their day in court, and if everybody wants to respect the law so much, I'm sorry. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's a pedo. I'm glad he's dead." Whatever. But he had his day in court, and the law doesn't have a death penalty for that at this time. And if we're supposed to respect the law, you know what I mean.
Then that's
regardless,
not vigilante justice.
Yeah, it's not vigilante justice. Vigilante justice shouldn't exist, and this is going to give a lot of power to those who are maybe just standing on the fence right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we're just like, waiting to see what would be after this trial and how much they're going to feel emboldened. And that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. It's going to be, well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I feel like this was not a distraction because, again, I kind of felt the way this was going to go early on. Now the Ahmaud Arbery case is going on at the same time, and I feel like that's a cut and dry. where they're
That's very cut and dry to me. Yeah.
so here we get all infuriated by the Rittenhouse verdict, and then we're all arguing online, filling up all the algorithms, and then the Arbery, verdict is going to come out and make us all happy, and that'll just quell all that, bring it all back down, and it's perfectly timed. Did you know that the Ghislaine Maxwell trial started?
I did.
But I feel like that's kind of an obscure,
And swept
not,
under the rug.
yeah.
Well, I
and-
mean, media and news, it's all entertainment.
but you should bring it to the forefront. Make sure that you
Sure,
got
well, that's what we should do.
paying attention to what you're
We can get
supposed to be
people to
paying attention
listen.
to.
Yeah, I mean, she's a freaking sex crimes trafficker. Horrible, horrible person.
For the rich and famous.
Yeah.
And that's what, I think the majority
Famous
of us
and get
want to
away
see
with
go down.
everything.
They do. And if
Yeah.
they're not famous, like, Rittenhouse wasn't famous before, he's
Yeah.
famous now, and he gets away with
In
it.
all the wrong ways.
Well, he'll go down in history, be remembered, and that's it.
Yeah, sure.
But, I don't know. It's amazing what the internet can
be-
do. And
There'll
then
be an example of critical race theory that they'll be proud of.
exactly.
It's fucking terrible.
But it's amazing what the internet can do with how they can fluctuate our societal attention span, and it bothers me to no end to be able to see, that I shared memes that made fun of Rittenhouse, knowing
Mhm.
full well what I was doing,
Yeah.
and yet that's what we do. And then we're going to move on to the next. But we just savor these little, all we'll remember is that Rittenhouse was an asshole, you and I. And then the other side will remember Rittenhouse as a hero, and that's just it, and moving on. But there's so much to learn from that single case that if we stopped and just took our time and looked at it and analyzed it, that we could go, we could actually progress in some way. But instead, we'll be talking about Ghislaine Maxwell now, which is great, and everybody wants that too. But
Ways to progress. It takes so long in this country.
if
Because I mean,
we-
it's all about legislation. You know
progress.
what I mean? Sure, I know, and you know what I mean. Like it's.
we have to
I
have
don't know.
a complete,
Like my parents and people I talk to say it was so much worse during the civil rights era and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't live back then, but I just know what I know. I just know that right now it's just everything feels heated,
Yeah.
and it's concerning. And
Well-
to be honest, if we want to find like a collective, since man always seems to like have to find a somebody to hate. If we all want to collectively come together from both sides, we can just kind of hate corporations more
Yeah.
and super powerful freaking billionaires that don't give a shit about anybody. Like they're the real enemy,
it's
in
true.
my opinion. But I don't want to get off subject.
That's a subject I want to cover another time, though.
Oh sure, absolutely.
Eat the rich. I
Yeah,
live by it.
take a deep dive into that. I mean, seriously, they're the ones buying up legislation, greasing palms on Capitol Hill. So
And it's a shame that everybody knows that, but we don't do anything. We leave the power in the hands of the people out there, the Congress, and then we say, we'd really like you to do term limits on yourself.
I
What are we going to accomplish there?
know they always say, "Well, vote. That's gonna change things." You know what I mean? But I mean, what else can we do besides vote? I guess. I mean, we can't. I mean, they want it to be that way. They want it. They want us to just kind of accept it and move on. That's why we go to work every single day. We spend most of our waking hours there. We come home. We have kids. We have a family. We attend to that. Like, how much time can we actually spend? Like when we're in this situation, of capitalism where we have to, buy all these things and pay for all of our bills and shit like that. Like,
Yeah, consumerist society. We're
I
just
know,
cogs
spend
in the
so much
machine.
money on food, like all the freaking time, every single month,
Earn money
and
to
pay all
spend
of
the
our
money.
bills just to live. And I don't have time to, change any of that. I don't have time to change the people that are supposed to represent me through,
No.
I don't know, some action other than voting, which I don't even know. I wish there was a way that, like, just everybody could just vote on every piece of legislation throughout the federal land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just seems it seems a little more simple to me. Like, hey, is federal legalization of marijuana? Yes or no? Let's just
The people.
throw it at a vote right there.
Yeah.
But the powers that be haven't found a way to really capitalize on it yet. So
No.
until they do, sorry.
You can always trace it to the money. It's just follow the money.
Everything.
Every single thing. And it's infuriating. It's frustrating. But, like you said, what do? Can you vote? Sure. But what are those single votes? I went and voted in the local one just the other week. And I went in there and did Democrat down the ticket
Mhm.
because I assumed the best with them.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for no mansions, no cinemas, but I still didn't know. I don't have time to research 18 different people,
Yeah.
for these simple things. And yet they have such control. And once you get to the higher up, does it with the Electoral College? Does it really matter? With gerrymandering, does it really matter to vote? Of course you say yes, you want to vote. But when you have everything stacked against
Yeah.
you, you're not the only
Well, the two biggest things that you said, gerrymandering and
Electoral College.
yeah, electoral college.
Yeah.
We need that. What was it? Just the ranked choice voting.
Ranked choice voting.
Yeah,
Would be
I like
beautiful.
that.
I hated how shitty it was in New York, though. How long it took
Really?
to verify. It just gives them more heat. But like, if you don't try something to see the flaws and do it better next time, then you're never going to get to progression, like I was saying. So I'm
yeah,
fine
I
with
mean, people we're up against are conservative. They don't want to change anything.
it. No, not if it affects their bank accounts. When it does.
Yeah, I mean, in the end,
they don't even understand it.
yeah,
But
that's like the thing about renewable. Like, I don't know, people don't realize that how incredibly profitable it's going to be. At least, a lot of economists that I've read on have done studies and said that renewable energy in the end will be much more profitable than fossil fuels. So
yeah, we're getting to the point where you're going to see a lot more tax breaks if you're doing renewable side things,
yeah,
and than still working with old, legacy coal and shit like that. So
the world's just so huge. What we have to accomplish is just be nothing short of a miracle.
it's true.
You know what I mean? Everybody collectively working together when like man itself is just all about competition.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
We're gonna have problems with the government in China. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Oh,
you want to segue into that? They disappeared an amazing tennis star
but I don't know how to say her name.
It's Peng Shuai.
Is it?
Is that what it was? I don't want to get this wrong. Let me look it up. But I'm sure people have heard about it. Apparently, she's been disappeared. I've heard that in social media things of hers, I don't know about accounts or something, but that stuff has been wiped. Because yes, her name is Peng Shuai, and she has been missing because she accused some asshole in a clearly patriarchal situation of sexually assaulting her, and I guess a government official, something like that.
No.
And now nobody has any idea where she is.
No.
And it's fucking crazy.
How does that happen? How does that happen in this day and age? Somebody
Kasagi or Kasoji, what is it, Kasagi?
Yeah.
It's like that all over. It's for different circumstances.
He didn't
Either way,
disappear for too long, though.
calling out evil. Yeah, good point. Calling out evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get you killed in some parts of the world.
Yeah. Most parts
Here
of the
too.
world.
Yeah.
But
I just, it's terrible.
it's again unfathomable that you would want.
They're thinking about withholding the Olympics. I don't know if it's the winter or the Summer Olympics. But whatever. From I guess China's up next in one of them, and I guess the Olympic Committee is thinking about withholding it until, which they should. I mean, like, it's
if it can be traced there, you'd hate for it to be coincidental.
Sure.
But at the same time, come on, this is obviously how it goes down.
Yeah.
If it's that's the problem is in America too. But you want people to speak out when this stuff goes down, and then what are their reference points to what's going to happen if I speak out? You might feel better. Things might do better, or this kind of shit.
Yeah.
You could be disappeared, or you could be embarrassed. Your past could be used against you. I mean, it's just
it's so easy nowadays with the internet.
yeah.
That's why you just gotta learn to not be ashamed. As long as you haven't like hurt anybody or killed anyone, and don't be ashamed. You want some porn and stuff, they look up your porn history and put that out there. Whatever.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed.
I'm not ashamed of my porn history.
I'm not gonna discuss that any further. Your cat's just freaking bathing himself like crazy over there. You're loving it, aren't you, buddy? Yeah.
Well, he's got his box.
He's got his box. Yeah, the cat's got his box. He said.
I put some of those like sticky tabs underneath the box so it stays on there.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So he gets wild in that bath time. It'll just flip off it.
Yeah.
Although entertaining, I do feel bad when he falls.
No.
That's Evander Holyfield for you.
Ugh.
Always a show. So that's almost 20 minutes of delicious talk between me and you.
It's a weird term.
It didn't taste
Delicious.
good to you? It
No,
tasted
I just think it's just not the word I would use.
good. Wow. It was delicious to me.
I hope you're not bored so far, though,
Yeah.
everybody. whoever's listening.
Because we are the...
Oh, you want me to hit it again?
Well, wouldn't it be goodbye that way?
No, yeah, it'd be more goodbye. We don't want to say goodbye yet.
Oh, I was.
Oh, you ready to say goodbye already?
Well, those were our topics.
Oh, sure. We didn't talk about the prison riot.
No, we didn't. We went straight to the kidnapping or murder.
We should talk about the prison riots a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It stems back to COVID.
Oh, yeah.
COVID.
So
Yeah, dude. Ugh.
So because of COVID shutting down the borders, that's causing very little money for the cartels.
Sure.
So they're needing to figure out other ways to get money, which is increasing the murder rates in these third world countries, especially South America.
Sure.
So the Sinaloa and the Los Vatos gangs are the
Okay.
ones that are fighting. I figured out. There was a murder of one of their leaders. I don't know which one it was.
I heard they like cut a hole in like a wall to get to like I guess they were actually you continue and then I'll see if you
It's
touch
just to
on that.
catch up. Yeah, no, I
Okay.
know where you're going with that. But just to catch up on the story of
Sure.
why it's going down is that so this guy was killed and he was like a high up in one of those cartels. And it was
Sure.
broad daylight in a mall, just gunned down. Dudes
Oh,
drove off on a
Jesus.
scooter. And at the same time, where if you think about it, you've got your higher ups outside jail and you got your higher ups in jail.
Sure.
2 higher ups in the jail in Ecuador were released.
Okay.
25-year sentences. They were released after 6 years. And that caused a power vacuum within the jail with
Sure.
no guidance from outside.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so a literal war within walls began, and it's
Yeah.
going on 4 or 5 days ago.
How'd they get like guns and knives? How'd they get all that shit in there?
it's
I mean,
so
it's just
corrupt.
corrupt as fuck. Yeah.
If you imagine, they're getting chump change to get paid. So
Sure.
if they offer them $10,000 and you let us get a few things in, you don't even need to know.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, what you were saying there with the hole in the wall is they've been hoarding
Mhm.
grenades, machetes, chainsaws, assault rifles, everything. They were just hiding it in the walls of this prison for these upcoming,
Mhm.
death scenarios. I mean, 100 plus people were killed in the one that happened in September, 60 in the one that happened 5 days ago, and 81 in the one that happened in February. All in the same prison, and they can't do anything about it because these cartels run that entire world
Sure.
down there. And it's getting exacerbated by COVID. So as soon as we start to get COVID under wraps, which, that's a whole nother episode,
Yeah.
we'll at least be able to open the borders more. And
Yeah.
at that point, we're going to see an influx of some chaos, I feel,
Yeah.
from the cartels anyway, because they're going to need to get back to the kind of finances that they were used to before.
Yeah. I mean, they're making that money in America.
Yeah,
We're buying up all their drugs. Ugh.
it is.
Blood and drugs in the street.
Yeah.
Blood in the prisons.
But these prisons are
Fucked
also,
up.
this is Ecuador.
It's
This is
sad that
not,
people have to live like that.
they don't
feel-
have a justice system. We
I
don't
know. It's,
have a very good one either.
yeah, we don't have a good one, but
Theirs is nothing at all. And so
just
when they
sad.
have innocent people going into these prisons
yeah.
because of whatever, then they're getting killed.
Yeah, caught in the crossfire. And there's like lines of like their relatives waiting outside and they can't give them any information.
No, they left them completely in the
Terrible.
dark because they couldn't, to be honest. From what I saw, they burned the bodies
Yeah.
in the prison.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's disgusting, and it's just it's showing,
It's shocking what humans will do to each other, man.
yeah, and it all stems back to that money.
Mm-hmm.
It all stems back to the money, and how do you get away from that? Cryptocurrency, but other than that,
Well, yeah, is it Bolivia that now accepts crypto or Bitcoin? It's a South America, another South American
oh,
country.
El Salvador.
El Salvador, right? That's
Yeah,
right.
El Salvador accepts as legal tender. They're going to
Cool.
be a powerhouse
Yeah, nice.
for sure. And I think that's going to help. I really do. I think that's going to help places like Ecuador because once the money starts to flow into that country, then they won't
Yeah.
need to go elsewhere to get it, as adamantly. So it's going to help because El Salvador is going to make mad profits off it. Some of the local areas are going to start doing the same thing, and using today's technology, it's very easy to transact. So
Yeah.
it's almost for them. They were paying $40 to $50, just to send a MoneyGram. Now it's instantaneous.
Mm.
I'm not gonna go crazy on the cryptocurrency right now, though.
Yeah. I don't even know if that's a Slayers of Boredom topic.
No, I don't think
People
we
start-
should.
No.
No.
People are going to be like,
Well,
I'm bored.
I have Bit Knuckles up, so you can
Oh, yeah,
always go
brought to
check
you by
out,
Bit Knuckles Up and
Bit
Razzle
Knuckles
Music
Up.
Productions.
and you can see that YouTube channel and catch all the crypto news.
Yeah, it's all there.
yeah. So we don't need to do that here. You know, I've told you before that Greta and I have a safe word for cryptocurrency talks. If I'm at a party, she'll say Gatorade. No lie.
Oh yeah.
And that means you're going too far. And I
Like
knew
Sean,
that.
when we leave this party, do you think that we could get a Gatorade?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Normally she'll just come over and be like, Sean, Gatorade. And then I have to explain the safe word and everything and apologize.
Gatorade. It's not even like, like
Subtle.
Yeah,
No.
it's not even like a subtle context.
No.
It's just like Gatorade
Yeah. At
right
that
in your
point,
fucking face.
I'm red in the face and everyone's trying to get away. Yeah, it makes sense.
You're like that guy at the party that won't stop talking about crypto.
Oh, I am. Proud to be that guy, but
That's
I am
awesome.
that guy.
Hey man, everybody's got to fill a role.
Mhm. That's mine. Obscure time lost in the corner if you want it.
That's fucking crazy.
Oh man, I just wanted to hit that before we ended this episode. But hey, yeah, 25 minutes. That's pretty decent.
No, it's not bad. I was pleased with 20 earlier, but
Yeah, well, I mean, once we have more,
some riot talk, some crypto.
once we have some more, some real detailed notes moving forward and stuff,
Yeah.
and
I'm
more
sure
fun
we'll
little
have the
sounds from
news.
these fun little buttons I can hit for all you people.
That is his favorite part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
What do the other ones do? I mean, show off.
yeah, sure. I think we got a wah wah wah, one of those things.
That would be in the classic category.
These are stock.
I'd never do that.
Yeah. Halloween's over.
Yeah. Well, no,
Halloween's never over.
it's never over.
You don't want to be hearing that.
Was that
Not on
crickets or
Slayer's.
birds?
It was brickets.
Those brickets?
Yeah, we're gonna swap
Oh.
these things out. Except for maybe the womp womp's pretty funny. Wah, wah, wah,
Yeah.
wah.
The little
Although it's
one needs to get out of
yeah,
there.
no.
No die.
Shit's not about jokes.
No.
We're not here to tell you jokes.
No. We're slaying Borden. That's what we're doing.
Slade and Borden.
Did it mess up? I felt like I rounded
Did
it
I
out
mess
well.
up?
No.
Oh man,
Slaying Borden.
you said Slade and Borden.
I don't
Maybe you
think
give
so.
it the M in there.
Go
Whatever.
back and check it.
This has
I
been the
said
test.
boredom.
This has been the first test episode of.
Slayers of Boredom Podcast.
Peace.
I thought that was fantastic.